So if I can see all templates from the Utilities tab, and I can go down to Manage Favorites. So if I click on Manage Favorites from the Utilities tab, I have the ability to look at encounter forms. It's like the fourth one down.
Okay.
So again, this is the same as what you saw in a patient's profile. These are the few that I have loaded in my currents list. Gabby asked, well, I want to preview all of them. So if I click on Add, it first breaks it down by specialty.
Okay.
And you can then expand them, and then you can click on Preview.
I see.
And that's going to open up a preview. Now you can go through and say, oh, you know, I really like this form. And you can just literally click it and then click Add Selected.
Okay.
So again, that's to access every template we have in our system. I went to Utilities and I clicked on Manage Favorites.
Okay.
I'm gonna go back to the dashboard, and we're gonna go back into that patient's profile. We're gonna go into Sanchez again. So we have an encounter. We're gonna click on the plus sign to do a new one. And do you wanna, are you primarily gonna be doing CCM visits? What's your focus on doing notes?
So it's pretty much everything from like physical exams, some of the pediatric cases as well, sport physical exams for school, and pretty much like all the outpatient internal medicine and pediatrics.
Okay. So most of the templates we have are very similar where they're tabbed out. The purpose is for you to go down a path. The definitive start is the chief complaint.
Sure.
And as you get through each tab, you get to the final preview and save. It turns all that raw data into a final, easy to read preview.
Okay.
So we're just going to go through one quickly together. Chief complaint, I'm going to just put test, by the way. Sore throat, HPI, I'll say first occurrence last week.
Okay.
Past meds. Now, these are some menu items that we think are convenient. You might say, these don't work for me. So again, we would create a custom template for you.
Okay.
Health maintenance. You can go through the history, surgical history, family history. And by the way, you don't have to fill out all of these templates, all of these tabs. Allergies. Now the allergies, these are going to pull in, just like the medications, from the navigation pane. So if I would have updated the meds and the allergies over here, it would reflect in the note.
And once you fill out all those tabs, and then let's say I have a subsequent encounter with a patient, he comes back, and then I see him, and I want to add some of the stuff from those tabs, they should be saved, right? Whatever was added during the previous visit.
You got it. We do not want to see you have to reinvent the wheel every time you see this patient. So I take the last note. Let's just pretend that this was from yesterday. Sure. Instead of clicking the plus sign, what I would do over here is I would click this little copy function.
That's the one I like.
That is going to copy that last note, and it's going to bring all that information forward. So I'm not stuck having to type in everything.
I think my dad is going to like that one, because I was telling him, I was using Epic in residency. So Epic, we used to, we have all these like fancy tabs. And I was asking if they had the copy forward note, and they said they didn't have it with the current EMR they have. So I think this one is very good.
Good. I'm glad. Yeah, it's a huge time saver for you. Another couple pieces I want to mention. You can review an old note while performing a new one. You'll see the difference in tabs here, 8.8 versus new.
Okay.
And you can flip between the two.
Oh, that's also good. Yeah.
Another item you might like is you are able to build out your own sub-templates. And what do I mean by that? What is an average visit you see over and over and over again?
Probably bronchitis.
Okay. So I surely don't want to create a bronchitis related template every time I see a bronchitis patient.
Sure.
So what I can do is I can build a skeleton, and I can use this skeleton every time I see bronchitis. So what I'm going to do to keep things simple is I'll just put in bronchitis as the chief complaint. HPI, that's always going to be specific to the patient, so you know what? I'm going to not fill that out.
Okay.
Bronchitis always seems to have its own review of symptoms. And physical exam. You know, patient usually always has chills. I could put in ICD-10s related to it, any of this. But where I'm going is, when I get to the final preview and save, if you notice up here it says Save Template.
Yes.
I'm going to check the box and put bronchitis. So now when I save this, I now have a skeleton for all bronchitis patients moving forward.
Okay.
So
like that.
Just to demonstrate that, new patient comes in, bronchitis again, I can load my skeleton by, there's two different encounters, by the way. Up here is your encounter forms.
Okay.
Down here is your templates that we created. And remember, I just created bronchitis, and it's going to load in bronchitis. So I'm recording this just to note that again. So feel free to review this video on how I created a custom template.
Okay, yeah, that's good. Thank you.
The other encounter form is the CCM and then the RxNT encounter. I think the CCM template, it needs work in talking with Jason. So we're going to revise this all together.
Okay.
The patient profile. So on the left-hand side, the navigation, there's some other tabs that are worth noting. I already touched on medications. You've already e-prescribed from here. But there's two items that I want to highlight that's very, very important. With most patients, we're going to pull in the patient's formulary from the insurance. We're going to provide you a medication list under the history, and it's going to be a list of every medication ever prescribed to the patient from any physician in the country. That's pretty powerful.
Yeah.
But it's also helpful because you probably spend 10 minutes with each patient trying to create a medication list. It's a waste of time.
Yep.
If we're going to give you this full list of every med, all you're going to have to do is reconcile it from the history tab. The second benefit from the formulary, and I'm sure you already saw this, when you go to e-prescribe, we're going to let you know if the medication will or will not be covered on the patient's insurance. It would display one of these little symbols. So that's also a time saver for you because the patient's not calling back.
Okay.
A lot of these tabs are self-explanatory. I'll just mention we can connect to any lab companies that you guys use. I think Jason and I are talking high level about that. So not only can you get the results right in the EMR, but you can perform the ordering from our EMR. Patient documents. you're able to upload any sort of documents right into the patient's chart here. So you might have a scan in from Epic, or maybe the patient's, filled out an intake form. You can upload it. You can then title it.
Okay.
And then you're able to upload it to the categories. So I want to pause here and open the floor up to you guys. Where else can I show you, or what else are you looking to accomplish with the pilot? We went over encounters. Was there any questions about the progress notes?
No, I don't think so. I guess I will have to start writing some of the notes, and then I'll probably come up with questions once I'm doing it.
Okay.
I guess the most important thing for me was just kind of like to start, using the system now, since I already saw a few patients.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of any specific questions about the note right now, but I don't know if Gabby has any other questions with.
I have, but it's more like not about the encounter, but some things that like merging the patient, like more like doesn't have to do with the doctor, but it's more like administration part.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about the administration side. First off, merging the patient you asked about, right?
Yeah.
That would be done from the Utilities tab. And there's a Merge Patients option here.
Oh.
So all I did was I clicked on Utilities, Merge Patients, and it takes me right to the Merge Patient screen. So what you do is you put in a request. And first off, you can do a manual patient merge yourself.
Okay.
If there's, let's say, somehow there's the same patient in here 10 times, you want us to perform the merge, you can submit a request to us. We're happy to handle it for you. In that case, with Sanchez, where there's only 2 of them, I think you're okay. You can do the manual merge yourself. So I can put in Sanchez, and we have 2 of them. Now, which one of the 2 is the primary record?
The 31, because that's the first one I created.
Okay. See how it switches? Primary to secondary. So 31 is primary now, and we're going to send the merge request. There you go. Now you have just 1 Dr. Sanchez.
Okay. That was one thing. Can we check if they changed the state instead of in New York to Illinois on the
for the prescription?
I did manually go in yet. We're going to look at that right now, but we did just go in yesterday evening and make that final change. So we're going to go through that example right now. The second Sanchez is going to be deleted by close of business from RxNT. This flag here is letting you know this is your primary record. And then, like I said, we're going to delete it on the back end for you, okay?
Okay.
So this little green flag is new. That's an overnight job that runs. So any merge requests, 12 a.m. midnight, it kicks into effect, removes all the duplicates. So when you come in the next day, you're good.
Okay.
Now, I must have done the encounter in the other Sanchez. So that's why we're not seeing any encounter information. What I want to do is just get to the final preview screen to ensure that the address, the city and state, that's all been changed. So all I'm doing is breezing through a prescription. We're not going to send it. We're going to just pause here on the final preview. Now, is all this information now correct?
Let me just double check with it. With the script. You just want to make sure that the DA number is correct.
Sure.
Let me see. Yeah, it looks good. Yeah, I think everything looks good now.
All right, perfect. So you can now, again, to stress, you can prescribe all non-controlled medications without a hitch.
Okay.
Gabby, what other questions did you have?
Can we search by date of birth instead of the patient's name?
So yes, you can. When you first log into RxNT, this is the dashboard. You'll also notice, Dr. Henriquez and Gabby, when I turned on the EMR, you have more functionality on the left-hand side now.
Yes.
But Gabby, to answer your question, in the top right corner, we have the last name and first name search. But what I could do is pull down this little arrow, and I could search by date of birth. I could search by zip, chart number.
No, good, because we have a lot of Maria Garcias and patients like that.
Yep.
Can we create our own health maintenance?
Yeah, you can. So tell me more. Your health maintenance would be like a checklist of things that you need to go through with each patient?
Correct.
We are more than happy to. So that falls in line with the custom templates. So do you have a current health maintenance?
We do have it on our new system, yes.
So if you want to send that to me, what we would do is we would digitize it and replicate it in the RxNT system.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll be good.
Will that pop up every time the patient needs something? Or they need to go in the tab and look to see if the patient needs something?
So all things patient related, if the patient needs something, you're always going to go into the patient's profile. So when you say the patient needs something, are you referring to like a refill request? Tell me more.
It's been a year the patient hasn't done a pap smear and it's due for the pap smear. Will that pop up and let the doctor know the patient is due for that? Or they need to go under the health maintenance?
It's kind of like a clinical reminder that something is due. Or, you know, like sometimes Medicare wants you to check if people are like a depression screening every year.
Yeah, we actually offer our own health maintenance rules that you're able to set up from the utilities tab. Okay. So from utilities, I'm going to go to health maintenance rules. And what I can do is put in my own parameters. So I would do a new rule, and we can use pap smear.
Okay.
And you can put in, you know, age minimums, maximums, you know, every 365 days. So this has to be checked.
Okay. So you went to utilities and then health maintenance rules?
Correct.
You call it PQRS, right?
And then it becomes a report. So then when you come back periodically and check on this health maintenance from the utilities, they'll be listed below. And then it'll give you a list of those patients for pap smear that need one.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. How do we make his schedule?
His schedule? So I'm glad we're talking about this. You're going to be using our scheduler from my understanding, or do you want to use SnapMD's?
I think your schedule because we don't have Snap.
Okay, that's right. That is right. So when you first log into RxNT, remember there's the product page. I clicked on EHR. You could click on scheduler if you want. Also, if you're in the EMR, scheduler is always available from the menu tab here. So that launched, 1 second here. I think we need to configure the scheduler for you.
I was looking at something that it already has like a block time and a lunch time, but that's not it. So I don't know if we were playing with that before or something.
Yeah, let me, I'm just going to log out real quick. I want to make sure the scheduler is set up fully for you. We're going to do, I might need to go back in with my colleague and make sure that it's activated for Dr. Henriquez, because I believe it's turned on for you because you said you went in it already, correct? Gabby?
Yes, I did.
Okay. I don't think it's set up for Dr. Henriquez. So I can go ahead and make a change on the system for that. Just taking some notes here. We'll do, haha, okay. So that's why. So Gabby, you are using your own login to use the scheduler, right?
Which is not that one anymore. They gave me a new one that is not a demo anymore.
Okay, so you were given a new one and you're now under the MD America,
Yes.
correct? Okay,
Yes.
so that helps me a lot. So I'm going to put you here. Gabby, what's your username?
It's capital H, capital G. That's Gabriela. No, I'm sorry.
ELA or?
I'm sorry, it's G Henriquez. The other way.
This?
Without the first H.
Oh, yeah. Okay, and what is your password?
It's capital H, A, J, A, A, Z at 30. One more 8. So it's H, A, J, A, Z.
Got it.
There you go.
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, so Dr. Henriquez, I will be turning the scheduler on for you behind the scenes.
Okay.
In the meantime, let's get in for Gabby to make sure that this is turned on. And, okay, all right, so, all right, Gabby, it's turned on for you, obviously. Just to kind of give you an overview here, there's a couple different ways to look at this. You're looking at the resource view. Here are all your resources down the left-hand side. We have Dr. Henriquez set up as a doctor. We also have Jason set up, let's just say, as a lead staff member. So it's showing me the schedule for both of them today. There's also a couple other views. Day merges them together. You can view the week, the month, or timeline. I think resource view makes the most sense. This scheduler is fully customizable down to a T. So I set up Dr. Henriquez and Jason as person resources. We also set up these two material resources just kind of as a baseline for you. So we can edit them, we can make changes. It all stems from the utilities in the top right corner. And what we would do is under company setup, I can edit my two people. I could add more. I could remove one of the two. I can choose my favorite colors for Dr. Henriquez. And then I just save. Now that's under the company setup.
Okay.
Preferences, it gets more specific where I could set things up by different groups, but there's only one group, Progressive Medical Center. I could set up insurance companies if I wanted to put in the patient's insurance. Why would you do that?
Oh, okay, sorry.
Go ahead, do you have a question?
I don't know if that's part of it or that's only for the scheduler, because I was trying to add insurance to one of the patients that we were entering, and it didn't give me the option, and I didn't know where to go.
Okay. So one other thing you should, I'm going to answer your question in just a moment. An important piece here under the utilities in the scheduler is for you to click on appointment templates. Did you create these or?
No, I didn't.
Okay, so you can do a new appointment template. Dr. Henriquez, you might have follow-up new patient, and you see them all the time. And you can set the duration. So this is you creating your scheduler forward. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes.
So now when I go back to the appointments, appointment template type, it's going to show my templates over here. So I can double click on a time. I can either add a new patient by clicking the plus sign, or I can add an existing patient. So what is that patient you were trying to add the insurance for?
It's just for billing.
Is the patient already in the RxNT system, or do you want to add insurance for a brand new patient?
The patient is already in, I was adding the patient on the system, so I already did, but I didn't add the insurance because I didn't know where to go.
Okay, so you can always add information to the patient two ways. There is the search up here, last name and first name.
Mm-hmm.
You can also in the top left corner click on patient. So Gabby, what is that patient that you're trying to add insurance for?
You want the last name is ORSINI.
Okay, so I can go into this patient here, and it's going to give me the patient dashboard. So this is all things patient related. Maybe I added an attachment, I have a copy of their driver's license, but what I need to do, you see this little thing jumping around, new case. Here is where I add the insurance information. It's telling me that I don't have insurance. So what kind of case type is this? I'm going to say health insurance. Default insurance is fine. I can then go down and add insurance information. And you know why none of these insurances are pulling in, and this is why you were having trouble, you need to add the insurances first on the PM, the practice management and billing side.
You know that they told me that I have access to PM, but when I'm trying to go to PM, it just keeps like going, but it doesn't do anything.
So I am going to write down Dr. Henriquez needs to be added to the scheduler. Gabby to PM. Because, yeah, you're not, it doesn't look like you're added to the PM. Now, I'm going to grant you access to the PM, Gabby, but
Okay.
the reason from the beginning why I thought it doesn't make sense to give you PM access for MD America, because there's no data in there. You would have to start from scratch and put in patient's insurance information. So you'd have to set up your payer fees and all that. It's a lot of, it's set up, and it's only one time, which is nice, because once you do it, it's set for life.
Yeah.
But my thought out of the gate was, why not just give you access to an existing demo account, Gabby, with all the data already in there so you can play around with it. So that's why I gave you this.
With the demo, I already play with it, and I kind of have an idea on how to do it. But now that he has patients and we actually want to use the system for his billing, his schedule, everything, and I try entering patients, start doing it like real, and it's when I got into that I don't
Yes.
have
Okay.
So I do kind of have an idea on how to work.
Good. That's perfect. That's exactly what I wanted to hear. So we're going to go ahead and turn on the PM system for you then, and I'm going to get the scheduler turned on for Dr. Henriquez. One thing that's important to mention, if you want to be set up in the live PM, you know, we have to enroll you with MD on the clearinghouse. So you're telling me you want to send real claims, right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. So we have to register you with the clearinghouse, and that's going to take a few weeks. I'm going to send over an enrollment form to you, Gabby, to complete. If you can get it back to me as soon as possible, we're going to get this thing enrolled for you.
Okay.
So in the meantime, over the next 3 weeks, a couple things I'd like to do. I would like to have my billing support team touch base with you, Gabby, to maybe help you set up some items in the utilities from the PM.
That's good.
Now, a couple things to highlight. Once you're registered with the clearinghouse, and in 2 or 3 weeks when you're live, that's when you can start sending claims electronically. You guys will start getting the ERAs back as well. Another great feature is insurance eligibility checking. So from the scheduler, you can check eligibility. You can also check patient insurance eligibility from the PM system as well.
Okay. And that is until the PM is set up, right?
Correct. Those transactions cannot occur until we register you with the clearinghouse. And as soon as I get that enrollment form back from you, hopefully today, we're going to get this thing going and start processing.
Okay. I have one more question. I don't know how that works. The way we're doing it right now with Dr. Henriquez, Hans Henriquez says, since he's just on board in our practice, he's not in network with all the insurances. So we are putting Dr. Rolando Henriquez as the billing provider and Dr. Hans Henriquez as the rendering provider. Is that option on your PM as well?
Yes, it is. So our PM, I'm going to go into my demo account because it's already set up. And you can play with this yourself, but from the PM system in the utilities, you can set up rendering, billing provider, all of that can be done. So again, I'm in this test account here. Here's the dashboard, everything's interactive. But from the utilities, I can set up my providers. So I have providers and rendering providers right here.
And that is, in order to add one, that is something that you guys will have to do. I'll have the ability to do it.
So once, what we're going to do in the coming weeks is get you set up with a training. And we're going to go through the training, this entire utilities tab, and help set up Dr. Henriquez in a live billing environment. So we're going to help you set up not only the providers and rendering, but we'll help you set up, you know, your fee schedules, insurance companies, things of that nature.
Okay.
So this, I think, is very helpful for me. I'm glad the three of us are connecting. And now I know you want to be live with practice management and billing.
Yeah.
Another thing I want to mention to both of you, there is a seamless handoff from the EMR to the billing system. So Dr. Henriquez, there is no paper super bill. Is that what you're doing now? Are you filling out a piece of paper and giving it to Gabby?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we do.
Isn't that a headache?
Yeah, I guess it's okay because I don't know any better, so.
Okay, so I'm going to quickly just show you what's going to happen. So in 3 weeks, when the billing system's up and running, you're using the EMR. And when we activate the EMR, there's going to be new tabs. Let me just do a fake encounter. So 1 second here. Let me just add a fake code for a second. Okay, great. So we're going to add Dr. Henriquez, this little next to the copy function that you love. There's now going to be a little green arrow in 3 weeks. All you do when you're finished your note, you click this little release button.
Okay.
You're sending your encounter, your ICD codes, and your CPT codes from today's visit. You're sending it over electronically to Gabby. You can stop filling out that paper form, dropping it off our desk.
Okay.
Now, Gabby, when she gets into the billing system and she sees the home screen, Gabby can pick up that encounter. She's being informed right here on the alerts that I have 19 unbilled encounters from Dr. Henriquez. And all those encounters that Dr. Henriquez you did, they're going to show up in this list unbilled. They're going to say imported. Gabby can easily pull this up. And guess what? All the codes are going to appear for Gabby. So not only is this a benefit for you, doctor, but for Gabby, there's no manual entry. She doesn't have to type in the codes. They're going to show up for her.
That's good, man.
And all she has to do is click send claim, and she's done. So I think this will absolutely provide a new layer of convenience to your existing workflow.
That's good, man. Because that's better for Gabby then.
Yeah. If you go to menu, and then it says something like patient queue, what is that?
So there's 2 products open. There's the EMR and then the PM, which is the billing system. The patient queue is in the EMR system.
Yes.
And what that is on the scheduler, when you check a patient in, it places them in the patient queue.
So that's for him to know which patients are waiting.
You got it. So every patient that was on the schedule for today will be listed under the patient name. They're going to see Dr. Henriquez, and it lists the appointment time. Once you check the patient in, this is going to update in real time with a date and a timestamp under check-in. So in between visits, Dr. Henriquez, in the EMR, you should always have the patient queue open because this is constantly updating for you, letting you know where your patients are.
Okay.
And then on the scheduling, how do the girls put the check-in? Do they do right click or is it a tab or how do they check in the patient?
Let me see if I can put one on the schedule real quick. See if I have any.
No one is available.
All right, so I'm going to now book an actual appointment. So we'll just do Rita Henderson today. All right, we're booking. These are reminders. These are very helpful. So you can trigger a reminder to pop up. You know, maybe the patient owes you money. Yes, I want to continue. Okay, great. So we now have a patient for Peter Jones listed on the scheduler. And we're looking at Peter Jones. All right, patient walks in. Hey, how are you? You can update the appointment information. I can update the demographics, insurance. When we get the PM set up, you'll be able to run eligibility. It'll return information such as, does the patient have insurance, yes or no. You can even run CPT codes to confirm. I'm going to go ahead and click check in. That's letting me know that the patient's been checked in at the front desk, which is great. But now for Dr. Henriquez, when he goes and opens the patient queue, that patient's now going to be listed in there. So Dr. Henriquez, click on patient queue, and Rita Henderson's now showing.
Okay.
So remember, I just checked her in a moment ago. That updates in real time, 12:03 and 12:03 in the bottom right. It looks like that's correct. So now from here, yep. So you could either click on intake, or if you click on chart, it takes you right into the patient's profile. So that's the patient queue in working order. Make sense?
Yes.
All right. I do have to jump off. I have another call. I have some homework to do. So Dr. Henriquez, I got to get you added to the scheduler.
Okay.
Gabby, I got to get you added to the full PM system. I also need some enrollment forms completed so we can.
I'm sorry, can you also add me to have an encounter because I don't have it either?
Yep. I will absolutely do so. And I'm going to send you over the enrollment form so we can get the live PM system set up. So I'll outline everything to both of you. So Gabby, you're going to have additional training, but Dr. Henriquez, from the EMR side, do you feel more comfortable? Do you want to set up another more formal training session? Where do you think, or what do you think next steps should be?
So I think I'm gonna try to do some of the notes that I already have to do, and
Perfect.
if I need more training or anything, we can, I can let you guys know. But I feel like I just need to play with the system and make sure that I know how to use it, and I have enough notes now, so I can kind of
Great.
start writing.
Perfect. Well, I'm going to check in with both of you every few days, just seeing how